Hello everybody, this is TV1 and back again with another video. This time I'm bringing back that Malcolm in the Middle series that I said I would do over the holidays, and I actually didn't end up doing any videos over the holidays, so I'm sorry about that. Didn't get around to do it, but now let's go in and talk about Series 1 Episode 12, Cheerleader. So, back into the reviews now, guys. Let's go in. You know how I do it. I go in. If you haven't seen my other videos, go check them out. I have a playlist on my channel, which you can check out below. Make sure to subscribe, and my playlist contains all 11 episodes. Yeah, so I'll probably put a link below to that or something like that, and a link to subscribe. So go check out my other Malcom reviews, and let's get on with this. Right, so this one revolved around two storylines, or three storylines, whatever you want to think about it. Let's go over and talk about France's storyline first off, because it's the easiest to top out. It probably gets a little of storyline there, a little bit of showing time as possible, and we continue on with his military school storyline. That's sort of been enjoyable so far. He gets to have another confrontation with Spangler, one-on-one with Spangler, and more of Spangler's personality is shown here. That's nice to see. So Francis is going into his headquarters with Spangler, and he goes to talk with him, and Spangler, well, he's giving out to him, and then he ends up getting into a bit of a sort of weird personality change and creak and seats. This is where the whole storyline of him sort of gets a little bit of backstory for him. We finally get to see some Spangler backstory as he talks about his previous life as just a normal person, and he used to be like Francis, and we get into that sort of thing. So he definitely just puts off a little bit more sensitive side, and that's sort of a I wouldn't say like a more stereotypical type of portrayal of the hard man who has a softer side, so we get to see some of that. And so in comedy, this is sort of a very stereotypical thing to do, and I don't think it's the most creative type of thing to do. But again, Francis plays off it pretty brilliantly, listens along, and he gets into his mother, and well, Spangler takes this the wrong way and says, "Why are you always talking about your mother?" He finds Francis learns more to do with his mother, and that he wasn't responsible for everything that happened. And yeah, Spangler goes back to his usual cadet, sergeant self, and gets Francis to not, like, he just goes back to being normal, and then Francis leaves. Yeah, abrupt sort of little bit of backstory there, and it was no harm having it there. Yeah, I definitely remember this episode from the series as just having a bit of interesting backstory for him, and I actually think that kind of bumped this episode up a little. In my opinion, before it was interesting. Another personality change came from Reese in this episode. Reese was attracted to a girl, and we see this how he's horribly upset that she won't like him because he just doesn't know how to treat girls really well. He doesn't know what to deal with. He just keeps like making fun, like trying to attract her attention just in the wrong ways possible, like the most stupid ways you could think of. But it's the way Reese sort of works, and he kind of shows a dumber side to Reese, really. So we get straight in by Malcolm to try cheerleading, to try and attract this girl, and maybe get into a relationship with her. But again, Malcolm is just sort of the clever guy who's going in for the bait there. He's putting a bit of bait out for Reese to do this, and he wants this for his own really enjoyment. He's being like, he doesn't want to, first of all, he tries to be a brotherly, nice guy and get involved there, you know, and I guess this shows the episode is quite a character piece in a way. A lot of softer sides characters are revealed. I think that was for a theme in this episode, really. But anyway, Malcolm first tries to help Reese in any way he can, but Reese goes into this position where he's just going to be cheerleader, and Malcolm's like, "Oh, I've done enough, I'm just going to go along with this." And it's sort of a very brotherly thing to do. You know, that reminds me a lot of my brothers, you know. He wouldn't go too far to stop him from doing anything that would humiliate Reese, but again, he goes ahead and confides in his nerdy friends, and they all sort of pack around to see this, and Stevie's all... So Stevie, Series 1 Stevie, is very simply put, just either, I don't know, either they're with Malcolm saying stuff. I mean, he starts off in his one episode that he really gets to be good in, and one episode I actually liked him in Series 1, where he's pretty funny with Malcolm. He gets some good lines. In this one, he's just, every time he's in, he's just making fun of Malcolm in some way. saying some stuff or whatever. Here he is, he's just going to watch now, so he doesn't really get anything in this episode to go on. Again, Dewey gets a little bit of storyline here. It shows it from the mind of Dewey. It shows a cool. There's actually a really good scene with Hal, which I don't really. I'm going to spoil. But then if you watch this episode, you'll see the Hal scene with the three kids, and Dewey sees everything from the perspective, the sort of kids, little baby type perspective. Or wait, see, we're getting sort of different age groups for kids, for all the different brothers. Obviously Reese being the oldest. No, sorry. Francis being the oldest, with the sergeant, Reese then in his thing, and then Malcom sort of a little bit younger, and feeling like that he's most sure of the kid, which is strange to say. We get to see a bit more Hal and Dewey as the child vision. He wants this weird teddy thing, and he will stop at nothing to get it. Yep, pretty simply put there. Yes, I guess a funny scene with it. Just more cute than funny really, but with Hal and Lois and Dewey, and how Hal and Lois are just completely just like, oh, there's Dewey again doing what he does, and we see a little bit more of Dewey's perspective in that bit there. Okay, so yeah, that was all that happened in this episode. Yeah, so Malcolm Middle episode 12 Cheerleader. It does come off a bit of character piece, as I said earlier on. Some of the characters get a little put back again. Just on the note of Stevie Carnarvon, he's just being put into the position where he's being put down more and more as just a secondary nerd character, just fitting in with all the nerds, not being his own special character he really needs to be. So that's a downfall that just keeps going on from, don't get back, way more episodes back, when Stevie started being put into this secondary character role and just not getting any real interaction with Malcolm in any way of storyline importance. Dewey's being put back as this character as well. Obviously he's really young, so I don't really I can understand why he would be put into that position. And all the other characters, definitely some of them just adding a little bit of touch of realism in the school. And now Malcolm does a good job, but again, he doesn't do much. Reese is interesting in this one, and I think a little bit of good acting there. I mean, his emotional scenes are a little unbelievable, but we see a bit more of his perspective, and it's really interesting to see all those perspectives of different characters that you don't usually see in these episodes, and so very interesting that side of things. So on that front, it gives me a good, strong, I would have put it at an 8, because things are taken back, and Malcolm just doesn't seem to be as interesting in this episode. Hal seems to be a little less interesting, even though we get one scene. It would go back to being at a 7. I'm going to put a strong 7 there. 7 and 7.5. But it goes for a 7 because it just wasn't anything special. And even though I like my character pieces, this one was just a filler. Guys, that's it for me, guys. This has been TV1. Make sure to like, share, favorite, and comment below. And of course, subscribe. See you next time.